My name is Brian Meredith and I'm an organic farmer in Laois here with my dad Keith. My dad has always been very what would I say, like open to nature, not make the farm just productive, that he'd leave these hedgerows. He grew up in an era where it was production was the main driver and people were paid to take out hedgerows. We converted in 2021 and then we've gradually been diversifying. So when you go organic, I suppose organic feed for cattle is very expensive. So suddenly you have to adjust to have we fed less meal, so you're kind of more not pushing the animals as hard, maybe more in tune with what land you have and less inputs. So my strongest memories of when I was a kid actually are more to do with the farm kitchen, in that we had a man who worked here, Michael Kinsella, and himself and Dad used to come in for morning tea around 11. And myself and my brother, especially during the summer holidays, that was kind of a big thing. So that's probably my strongest memory. My dad, when in the early 90s, he would have put in forestry and a pond. He got this pond dug and he left an island in the middle of it. And then he got some tree trunks and dragged them across. I think he nearly gave himself a heart attack doing it. A lot of people have the experience when they move abroad, they suddenly realise maybe what they had at home. So I've definitely had that so as you grow up on a farm, you want to go see something else. So for a while I wasn't here. I wanted to go try new things. I ended up planting a hedge with my dad when I was 19 on a summer holiday, and we just got talking and kind of by the end of planting the hedge decided I might come home to farm. So then I switched to agriculture in UCD. Then a lecturer said to me about doing a PhD, and it was something I had never really thought about. So that was 4 years, and then I went into a cattle breeding job, like statistics-based genetic evaluations I did for 6 months. I think gradually there's a pattern of I'm capable of doing something, but that doesn't mean it suits my temperament or what I enjoy. I suppose farming gives me I get the outdoors, I get to be with family, nature, but I also get that intellectual side of running a business, being self-employed. It's kind of taken all the things I need and given to me as part of my job. I guess we all kind of go into jobs and we're like, when I find the perfect job, this, it's kind of constant chasing. And I had that for a long time. And then very soon after starting farming, I was kind of like, this is it. Yeah, just because it got all those needs. And yeah, there was a reconnecting with nature, but a reconnecting with with my home and with my network of friends and I guess I didn't realize how many connections I had to both land and people here until I left. No, it is a cliche, but probably because it's true that you probably don't realize what you got till you like Moncon, he went away and then you realize, geez, Ireland's actually got a lot of things going for it. But I think maybe you need to get out of it first to see it. I'm only here 5 years working full time, and already I can see, we put in these lines of trees 3 years ago, and already they're growing up. And every time I come up here, I'm like, geez, they're growing further. And I'll pass loads of things on the farm, and I'm like, that's changed since I'm home. So it's like the farm is kind of like a diary that you live in. So you get all these little reminders of stuff you've done. So now I'm kind of, I suppose, part of the farm, for want of a better way of putting it. These are mainly weanlings they were born last March, so they're just over a year. and then a few cows mixed in between them. But you forget that they're part of nature too, and like if you're out with them and you stop for a few minutes where you're not being busy and on to the next thing, you can kind of see personality traits in them. Like they're curious, some are more risk averse, some just can't handle their curiosity. They're not a million miles different from humans, really. Just need to spend time with them to see it. When I came home, you'd hear, like, especially in like alternative or ecological kind of inspirational videos, stuff about working with the land and all this. And I was kind of open to it, but part of me, I had a scientific training, and I'm like, it's very wishy-washy. But then when I came home, like this farm has kind of a cycle. Say where we are now, we would never plough this ground because it's wet ground. As you go up the farm here, it gets wetter and more clay in the soil. And like you can see it with rushes and like nature's always giving you hints. You'll see some small amounts of rushes because it's wetter. And so now I know the different parts of the farm, but like say there's actually, my dad and my uncle had these, they were working with the land, but they never vocalized it. Do you know when you have a skill and you think, anyone could do this? He's definitely like that. He has all these things and he couldn't write them down or tell you about them, but he knows. It's just experience. He knows the farm. I suppose farming with nature sounds like a very fluffy, abstract concept, but I suppose a lot of farmers do it, but they don't like to if you labelled it that way, they might resist that idea. It's like how Irish people will be having the crack doing something, and then you might have a friend over who's not from Ireland, and then they'll go, we're having the crack, aren't we? And by pointing it out, it kind of takes you out, like it ruins it kind of. So it's kind of, I think Irish people are that way sometimes. We all know stuff, but you don't have to point it out. I'm lucky that I was born a farmer's son, and I have a natural way back to literally work in nature. I love doing Sunday duty when I don't have something to do, especially in the summer. You just count the cattle, make sure everything's healthy, but you're not doing it to go on to something else. So like if I want to take 4 hours to do what should take 2 and just go around slowly, that can be lovely, particularly when the weather's nice and you tend to spot stuff you don't spot during the work week. So that's kind of my version of reconnecting. But then I guess for other people, it's trying to advocate for all those public spaces, both retaining like what woodlands and natural areas we have, because I think there is a realization that we need those, like recreation, recreation, getting back into nature. Like people in office jobs, I've never seen people who are more keen to go hiking, go up mountains, be in nature. I think there is an innate need for that to kind of recharge the battery. So, but I think people are starting to realize that. But if you get into nature and if you can unplug, like keep the phone in the pocket and not have a playlist on and just kind of be there, but not trying to force it either. Just like after 10-15 minutes you kind of hear stuff or you see stuff you don't expect, or it has a calming effect. It means you don't get caught up in the kind of, like you say, the work and all these different things we're gonna do. It makes you slow down. Nature's good that way.